I just bought this PC for 50 cents at a flea market, and honestly, it's not the kind of computer anyone would want to own. It looks terrible on the outside, and the hardware inside is over 2 decades old. I bought it for one reason: to find out whether a 22-year-old PC can still run Minecraft. Let's find out. Just by looking at it, you can probably tell why this PC only cost me 50 cents. The front panel won't even stay attached unless it's held together with tape. Looking at the outside, I couldn't stop asking myself one question: can this thing even still work? Then again, considering its age, maybe I shouldn't be too surprised. This is a Fujitsu Office PC with a name that's almost impossible to remember: FMV Desk Power CE70G7. It was released back in 2004. If this PC were a person, it'd probably be married with kids by now. There's also a Pentium 4 sticker on the front, so I already had a pretty good idea of what kind of performance to expect. At this point, I was just hoping there was actually a complete computer inside this beat-up case. Imagine if I'd paid 50 cents for nothing but an empty shell. Whoa, what does that smell? It smells burnt. Oh no, what on earth is this? There's actual dirt inside the case. This thing is absolutely disgusting. Still, I couldn't help being excited. I mean, it only cost me 50 cents. And it gets even more interesting. It's equipped with 2 sticks of DDR memory. I guess I've lived long enough to see DDR1 RAM again. They're just 256 megabytes each, running at 333 megahertz. Alongside that is an old IDE hard drive. I can't wait to see just how painfully slow this thing really is. Alright, moment of truth. Let's plug it in and find out if this old PC still has any life left in it. Holy crap! My PSU just blew up. My heart was pounding. I couldn't believe it. The moment I plugged it in, the power supply sparked right in front of me. Thank goodness my hand was right next to it but wasn't hurt. For a second, I genuinely thought this PC was done for. I took a deep breath, worked up the courage, and tried plugging it in one more time. Oh my god! At least it didn't explode again, but that wasn't exactly good news. The machine was completely dead. No fans, nothing. I couldn't stop thinking that the short circuit had probably taken something else with it. I tried powering it on a few more times, still nothing. At this point, there was only one thing left to do: start checking the hardware piece by piece. The first suspect was the power supply, so I pulled it out of the case and tested it by itself. Oh no, the power supply had just gone kaput. Looks like my bad luck wasn't finished with me yet. Now I needed to find another power supply with the same form factor. But I quickly ran into another problem. Every replacement power supply I found used a completely different connector. This 50-cent PC uses a proprietary 20-pin power connector, which made things a lot more complicated than I expected. Then I remembered something. Most standard ATX power supplies actually come with a 20+ 4-pin motherboard connector. So I wondered, what if I simply removed the extra 4 pins and used only the 20-pin connector? There was only one way to find out. Oh my god, it worked. The PC powered on. That was a huge relief. At least I didn't have to buy another power supply or hunt down some weird adapter. But I wasn't out of the woods yet. The machine immediately started beeping. One long beep over and over again. Something definitely wasn't happy. From my experience, a continuous long beep usually points to a memory problem. So I removed the RAM, cleaned both the contacts and the slots as thoroughly as I could, and tried again. No luck. The beeping was still there. At that point, the only thing left to do was test each stick of RAM one by one and start narrowing down the fault. Oh my god! The moment I tested just one stick of RAM, the machine finally displayed an image. That was a very good sign. Alright, time to test the other stick. Oh no, the long beeping came back immediately. Now the problem was starting to reveal itself. Just to be sure, I moved the RAM to a different slot to rule out a faulty memory socket. Unfortunately, nothing changed. This stubborn old PC was still stuck at boot. At that point, I was running out of ideas. Then I decided to take a much closer look at the faulty RAM stick, and that's when I noticed something. There were several deep scratches across the contacts. Those scratches looked bad enough to bridge contacts that were supposed to be electrically isolated. Suddenly, everything started to make sense. I was pretty confident I'd found the real cause of the problem. The RAM wasn't dead. It looked like some of the contact pads had shorted together. So my next step was to carefully clean the contacts and separate the damaged traces as much as possible, hoping I could bring this stick of RAM back to life. Then it was time for one more test. No way. The beeping was gone. I actually couldn't believe it. After everything this machine had been through, a blown power supply and a damaged RAM stick, it had finally come back to life. Somehow, every problem had been fixed. And now, we're finally in the BIOS. That's a huge milestone. But the real challenge is still ahead. Now it's time to boot into the operating system and find out whether this old 50-cent PC can actually play Minecraft. Just when I thought the hard part was over, another problem showed up. As you can see, the screen wasn't displaying anything useful. After checking the system, I realized why. The hard drive was still there, but it didn't have an operating system installed. So I decided to install Windows. To keep things authentic, I chose Windows XP, the operating system this PC would most likely have been running about 20 years ago. But the moment the installation started, I realized I had another problem. This machine was unbelievably slow. Between the aging hardware and the old IDE hard drive, the installer barely made any progress. I waited for almost 2 hours, and it was still sitting at around 10%. At that point, I had to admit defeat. There had to be a better option, so I started looking into lightweight Linux distributions. Projects like Arch Linux and Anti-X are specifically designed to breathe new life into very old hardware. After doing some research, Anti-X seemed like the better fit for this machine, so I gave it a try. And honestly, I was amazed. The installation was incredibly quick compared to Windows. About 15 minutes later, Anti-X was fully installed and running on this ancient PC. But, of course, the problems still weren't over. Right after finishing the installation, the screen suddenly went black. The computer was clearly still running, but I couldn't see anything. It didn't take me long to figure out what was happening. The graphics hardware in this machine is simply too old to properly support the high-resolution monitor I was using. So I switched over to an older display with a much lower native resolution. And just like that, the picture came back. Finally, the computer was actually usable. Well, sort of. There was still another problem. This machine is unbelievably weak. At 1600 by 1200, the CPU was pinned at 100% utilization almost all the time. Just rendering the desktop was enough to max it out. So I lowered the resolution to 1024 by 768. Only then did the system finally have a little breathing room. Now it's time to see how it handles some basic everyday tasks. Let's start with YouTube. Oh my god, it's painfully slow. Even something as simple as scrolling through the page feels like hard work. The entire system responds at a painfully sluggish pace. But the biggest surprise came when I actually tried to play a video. Oh no. The playback delay is awful. I can't even enjoy watching my own videos on this thing. So I dropped the resolution all the way down to 144p. And even then, smooth playback was still completely out of reach. At this point, I was seriously starting to wonder, if it struggles this much with YouTube, is there any chance I'll actually get Minecraft running on it? But even getting the game to launch wasn't simple. This machine is just too old. I had to be incredibly patient while waiting for everything to load. And then, another error. This time it complained that Java 8 was missing. I tried every workaround I could think of to install it, but nothing worked. No matter what I did, the game simply refused to launch. Even after choosing the oldest Minecraft version I could, this old PC still wasn't cooperating. At that point, I gave up on the original launcher and switched to Multi-MC instead. Since this system can only run 32-bit software, I installed the 32-bit version of Multi-MC. Once everything was set up, I gave it another try. Honestly, I was getting tired of staring at loading screens, wondering why I was putting myself through all of this. Then, oh my god, look at that! The Mojang logo. I actually did it. Minecraft was finally launching on this terrible old PC. I won't lie, this has easily been one of the hardest technical challenges I've ever taken on. Of course, I wasn't in the game yet. I still had to wait, and wait for the world to finish loading. Oh my goodness, this is unbelievably slow. The frame rate hovers around 5 frames per second, and every now and then it briefly climbs to about 10 frames per second. But that's the best it can do. The performance is anything but stable. Every time I try to move, there's a noticeable delay before the game responds. If you're not a patient person, I'd strongly recommend staying far away from this machine. One thing that did surprise me though was the memory usage. Even with only 456 megabytes of RAM available, the operating system and Minecraft together were using only about half of it. That really shows how lightweight this operating system is. It's honestly a great choice for extremely low-end hardware like this. So in the end, can this 50-cent PC run Minecraft? Technically, yes, as long as you're willing to ignore the frame rate. Still, this has been one of the most interesting experiments I've ever done, and I'm glad I got to share it with you. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to leave a like and let me know what you think in the comments below.